Ipswich Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single £1.20, a return only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talk in Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to a watch along. I am your host, the Gov. I'm going to bring back Steve. Going to bring Neil. Welcome back, guys. Obviously, penalty shootouts for those that maybe do not know what's going on. It's 0-0. Figure has just missed his penalty. Fuck's sake! So it's
we're out. Brilliant.
Well, we're not out just yet, but I mean, you know, he slipped just as he took that. That's a shame.
Awful.
Yeah, not the greatest. Duncan Farrow, £20. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you.
Nice.
Fishmas is absolutely shite. You know what you mean? Freddie Sears, goal, bottom left. What about you, Steve? What are you saying?
Top left.
Top left.
Mm.
But we both think he's going to score, do we?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Here he goes. Oh, he's missed!
Holy hell, okay.
Heladki, who's had an absolute ropey game, it has to be said.
Still second choice, isn't he? That's for sure.
Yep. Oh, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. But he saved it. Get in. That is what we love to see. Love a bit of that. Absolutely love a bit of that.
I almost don't want us to go through now. This cost. It's such a shit 90 minutes of football.
Oh, I know. We'll get to that in a second. But here we go. Connor Chapman.
God.
Goal. What you saying, Steve?
Goal.
Oh, lovely. I'll have a bit of that.
That's
beautiful. Are you there, Neil? Are you ready?
I am.
You're back. Good man. Good man. 1-0
I thought I was already in.
You were, but you were rustling the microphone, so I just put you on mute to save the guys and girls' ears at home. Obviously 1-1. What I don't like about this camera angle is that you can't see the players' faces. On a penalty shootout, I love to read the players' faces as they walk up to make
emotion, isn't it?
To make a prediction. Or he don't look confident, or he looks really confident, or is he too confident?
Come on,
oh, that's a lovely penalty. Oh, he's at the old fan of the whistle with the
it's enough of that shit. Come on, get him out of it.
He's even put his finger to his lips, Neil.
He has.
It's a great penalty, to be fair, isn't it? It's a really nice penalty. Really nice. Who is it now? Raheem Harper, Neil. What are you saying? Score or miss?
I don't know. I'm not confident.
So, what's he going to do? Is he going to score? Or is he going to miss? It's a 50-50
chance. He's putting it in top right. No,
nice.
Top left.
Top left. Either way, we'll have a bit of that. 2-1. You're absolutely right, Colin. 2-1. Love that. Does it matter if we go through? What, Neil?
Not really, apart from it's a W on the sheet.
It's a draw technically, isn't it? It's because in the competition it's counted as a draw, and then they don't like. They give the winner that one extra point, don't they? So whoever wins the shootout, you get 2 points instead of 3. I think that's the case still. Here he goes. Number 7 for Colchester United. Steps up.
How do you win a penalty shootout and get a draw out of it?
Well, the game finished a draw, but because of there's only 3 other, it's a group. I don't know. Don't ask me. I just know this from playing.
You're just making this competition sound even more stupid than it already was.
I just know it from playing Football Manager. That's the only reason why I know that. Oh, Burson, don't break my heart. You're
Please, come on, Burson. You know this one. Come on, dude. Please don't hurt me.
Come on, Santi. Let's go. Oh,
lovely, smooth, cool as you like that.
Showed his class there. Absolutely showed his class. Obviously, it's competition, Steve, that you could win, or that you can win. Oh, not that you can win. Sorry, that you, well, of course you can win it, but that you could go to.
Are you sure you win it? Are you sure you don't win the final with a draw?
Well, who knows in this competition? What
it's
I
like
meant
a slightly
was
less wooden spoon.
I was distracted. What I meant was a chance to go to Wembley. So, is it important that we go through when the chance is there?
There are better situations to end up at Wembley. Like the playoffs.
A trophy's a trophy, though, isn't it? When you're at this level, surely.
I'd still take it. We haven't had silverware in such a long time. I'd take it. It's not that much, but it'll do.
Who is it now? Who is it now?
Aluko.
Sean Aluko.
Nailed on, mate.
There we go. Right. Beautiful. This is it. Deciding penalty.
Come on, Halatki.
Which way is it going to go?
Skyward. Going to scuff it. Over the bar. Is it going to be Chambo?
Be Chambers. Go on. Just make my day.
Off is Chambo.
No, it's not Chambers. It's Cooper. Is that Cooper? 8,000, Lee, was the attendance tonight. 8,000 was the attendance with about 400 Colchester United fans, I think, from memory.
Sky it.
He's missed!
Look at that. Happy days. Right, there we go. So, Ipswich Town win the penalty shootout 4-3 and a draw. Yeah, that will see them go through to the next stages of the Stuffed Crust Cup. So, let's pull that one apart now then. Now the game has finished, guys and girls. So, what did we make of the 90 plus? The plus, who wants to kick us off? Obviously, there'll be a live link. Get involved. Have your say. Steve, what do you make of the game tonight?
That was one of the most dismal and scruffy 90 minutes of football I've ever seen, I think, in recent memory. There was so many mistakes, so many wasted chances, so many scuffed chances. It was frustrating because you think they're just in, they've got a good chance, and they'll either be caught offside or they'll hoof it between themselves for a couple of minutes because Colchester have got everyone back, bar Freddie Sears. And then there'll be a missed pass, and Colchester will try and get us on the counter.
Lee Bayers, just like Saturday, great first, good pen and good win, excellent. Rob says pedestrian performance, tippy tappy, sideways football with no real penetration, no urgency, very poor. Neil, is that how you saw the game?
First half was quite end to end, and from a neutral's perspective, probably quite entertaining. Colchester could have easily have scored several times with that ball straight over the top and Sears' pace, and that was when our keeper was at his shakiest. Second half, all of our players were, as Hyam kept saying in the commentary, that all of our forward players were, you could throw a blanket over all of them. They were just in each other's way, with no real width. Clements came on, done pretty good. He was brilliant for initially, and then he almost like he started thinking about it too much, and he wimped out of quite a lot of things because the range of his passing within the first 5 minutes of him being on was brilliant, and then all he ended up doing afterwards was be out wide, get the ball, and then play it inside to a player, and like a little bit more, please. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, we obviously finished the game with most of our some of our first teamers, a lot of international quality there. Obviously, Selena Burns, who's done really well this year. Was it disappointing from your perspective, Neil, that we ended the game with such talent on the field, and we weren't able to break them down still that last 15 to 20 minutes?
Well, you can be happy in a way that the ball did make it into the net. Our Piggott does know how to find the goal. The only problem was he was offside. There was a few chances that we made, and at the end of the day, there were a few balls that could have been a little bit better, and we could have scored from them. But there were good moves. There were still positives in there. It's just, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Were any of the penalty shouts worth anything to you?
Good question, Steve. How did you see the penalty shouts?
I don't know if I missed any, and I wasn't here temporarily, but yeah, nothing too much in them really. I wasn't.
I thought they won on.
100% convinced.
I think they won on Chaplin. Was it Chaplin on the left-hand side?
Or was it Barry? There was
Barry,
one where Barry
on Barry. That's the fella on Barry. Yeah, I mean, he's been so sparingly used. I forgot who he was halfway through the game. I had to look him up. Barry. I thought that was a penalty. How did you see it now?
That was the most convincing one of the lot. Luco's the last one was a little bit.
Yeah, that would have been
nothing.
soft.
Yeah,
it would have been. That would have been soft.
But no, I thought I'd need a closer viewing of it to be certain. But out of them all, that seemed the closest.
Yeah, I agree. Keon, what do you say to this? I know I'll get both your thoughts. Start with you, Neil. Keon, or Keon, does anyone actually care? This cup shouldn't exist. What would you say back to Mr. Leathers there?
It does exist. We just played in it.
We just did. Well, yeah. Yeah. What would you say back to?
Yeah, it exists, and if it exists, why not try and win it? You know, why not try and get on a run? You know, it's good. It gets the morale up, if anything. You know,
it's a nothing cup, but really doesn't mean anything. But it's a bit of silverware, so if we can get our hands on it, it's better than someone else having it.
Yeah.
Good for the guys to get a winning run together.
It's a day at Wembley. It's the winning meant feeling. It's good. It's feel good factor. But I do agree. Does anyone actually care? I mean, it's a struggle for a club of our standing. And yes, you are where you are, but still, but it is what it is. Rob,
when you're beaten in your table by an under-21 team.
Well, that's it. Rob Piggott nowhere near match fitness. Mike the Fishman, we were shit. Lewis out-tried by so-called quality players that are fringe players. Cali, Pizza Cup champions. Everyone's passing was off today. Terry, expected performance from a group of players that haven't played much. Needed time to gel. Mike D. To be fair, they did have 10 men behind the ball, but we never really looked like breaking them down. Movement, not great. Stephen Parry did more than 20 minutes than Barry in 70. I'll bring Stephen in a second. I can see him waiting. Gary, now you know why we shouldn't have let Chambers go.
Are you sure?
What? That's what I think. I'll be reading that tonight at 5 to 9.
Barry might not have done anything, but what he did do was turn Chambers inside and out.
Oh, like a washing line. Lewis, not. Fraser and Morsey in the middle would be amazing. Mike D. Fraser is good in the middle. You can see why he thinks he's an 8 rather than a 10. Callie, leave now. Monty Pineapple should be nowhere near a pizza. Have you still... No, Colin, you are back, my man. Welcome back. Callie, again. Must be buzzing for Clements. Suffolk Andy, it's an egg cup. And Lee Nick Anderson, a nothing cup, but a day at Wembley. Well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but it is a potential day at Wembley. Stephen, welcome in. What did you make of that 90 minutes plus?
It was torturous. We were the far better side. Rubbish this Chambers was, we regret to see him go. He was awful. It was torturous. Let's be fair. We should have had them over a barrel. They were not even in the same... I'm not saying they weren't in the same division, not in the same universe as us. Yeah, we were playing through. All they had was a long ball to Sears. That was it. After that, they had nothing. As soon as Burgess got Sears in his back pocket, they had nothing. And we were playing it around, and we were playing some nice stuff. And I'll say this: I don't give a shit how much crap I get off Villa fans. Barry ain't the finished article. He's a good player. He's not ready yet. Loan him to League Two. He's not ready yet. Yeah, he's just not. He's not good enough yet. He will be. I'm not saying he won't be. He's a good player. He's a rough diamond. He's got the potential. He's not, because you could see the difference between when Selena came on and when he went off. Selena was busy. He was active. He was looking. He was busy. He was looking for the passes that weren't there, but he found them. Barry was all over the place. He didn't know whether it was number 10. Didn't know whether it was the left wing. It was all over. Even Luke Hyam said it. We had 3 number 10s on at one stage, and we were getting mixed up. It needs to be a bit more structure. Selina had no problem going out the left wing, and he had no problem going out there. And then Chaplin went in the centre. But Barry was all over the bloody place. He was inside, he was outside, he was all over the place. Piggott, I'm sorry, he doesn't do it for me. He did not. I'm on record on this pod to turn around and say, I don't see what people see in Piggott. And I've said this last year. Yeah, he's not the player we needed. And I wasn't really delighted. I said, I'll support him if he signs. But I said, he's not the player we needed. I don't care how many goals he got last year. If you can't do it, you can't do it. And he didn't do it. He had plenty of opportunities and he let them go. You know, I'll be honest, I'm not Bond's biggest fan when we signed him. I am now because he can do it. And that's the difference between a striker and a wannabe. I hope I'm wrong. I can see in a year or so, Piggott could be another Norwood. A wannabe who didn't quite make it. Who had a good career at one club, didn't do it here. And he might end up drifting out. I hope to God I'm wrong, because I like the lad. Mm-hmm. But from what I saw tonight, there was glimpses of, you know, hype in there, and there wasn't any substance. You know, Bond's proved he's got the substance. And I'm a bit concerned that if Bond's out, we haven't really got a backup. Because if that's the best we've got as backup, I'm worried.
Okay. Neil, what do you mean?
My thoughts exactly.
On Joe Piggott.
The fact that I was happy enough that we signed him on his record that he had. But from what I've witnessed of him so far, that record means nothing. He's done nothing here.
I'll say one thing, if I can just say this, yeah. Mm. I know everybody turns around and says that Fraser's the best number 10. I don't agree with that. Yeah. By his own admission, he's a number 8. Yeah. And he really grew into that game as number 8. He really did. He was pulling the strings in there. Yeah. He was allowing Harper to go and do what he wanted. And he was just looking for the balls. He was finding the balls. The balls were going through. He was doing the Morsey role. He was just finding the pass and it was there. And he really grew into that number 8 role. Yeah. To me, I think Chaplin and Selina are the better number 10s. But I think Selina's probably better as a left winger. So I think we're probably better. Selina left wing, Chaplin is number 10. And Fraser, when he gets a game, can play in the number 8 instead of Evans or whatever. Yeah. But that's probably the way we're better going. Because at the end of the day, we're only a few games into the season. And we're still trying to work out where these players are best played. And from what I'm seeing, that's where I'm seeing it's probably going to end up. Whereas Chaplin's number 10, it's like Fraser and Evans for the number 8, Morsey the number 6, and then Selina on the left wing. That's just the way I look. But he really grew into that number 8 role. He really did.
He did. I mean, the competition has to be weighted, doesn't it? A little bit.
Yeah, I hear you. He did play well in that number 8, but in some ways, I just feel it was a little bit wasted being that deep. I just feel that every time he put that ball into Chaplin and Chaplin tried to turn, and then he would end up messing up the final ball or running into a player.
When you've got like 8-9 men defending.
I just think that Fraser would have done better if he was on the other end of his ball that he did, and he was in that position in and around the edge of the box, because I think he can pick out a ball better than Chaplin can.
With like everybody barring Sears defending, that's really hard to play through, no matter who you are.
But that's equally difficult for Joe Piggott, is it not? Who I thought had a good game tonight. I thought everything he missed was a goal. He hit the bar, didn't he? He
shot and the keeper hit it onto the bar, touched it onto the bar. But he had chances. But the point is, when you get those chances, to be the number 1, you've got to take them chances. And he's not. He's like falling behind. I know Bond's missed a few, but when Bond's missed, maybe he needs a run. I don't know. Can we afford to give him a run? That's the point I'm trying to make. If we are giving him a run of 2 or 3 games and we don't win 2 or 3 games, all of a sudden it's going to be Paul Cook out again. Can Paul Cook afford to give him 2 or 3 games, not wondering whether he's going to score? And that's the problem Paul Cook has. And fans don't realise this. Paul Cook's got to sit there and say, well, Bond scored me 12 goals. Yeah. You know, Piggott's struggling to score goals. Yeah, I know he's got some in the Pizza Cup. What did he do? You know what I mean? Against Gillingham, that's not hard. I could score against Gillingham. You know, but the point is, it's like he's got to weigh that up. Can he score against Oxford? Can he score against Rotherham? Can he score against Sunderland? And I'm sorry, he's going to come back down to the ground and say, I'm sorry, I don't think he can.
All right.
And I think it's just going to be like, we're going to have to play a bomb. He's going to have to play a second fiddle. And we'll just see how it goes. I hope to God I'm wrong, but I worry that it's starting to look like he could be another Norwood. In a year's time, he might be replaced by somebody else.
Pickett seems really lacking in confidence with his shooting.
He's not played any games, to be fair. I mean, that's really a difficult position for a striker to come in. In.
Can I just say something, Martin? If you were manager, would you play him in games?
Well, no.
From what you've
that's
just
not.
said.
He could have scored a hat trick tonight. Macaulay Bonne is number one.
Wheels should be right. Come on. This is your argument all the time.
Hey, touche. Fuck you, touche. I like it. I like the way your jibber works.
Do you get my point?
Hey.
If you were Paul Cook and you were watching that, would you say he'd start Saturday? You wouldn't, would you?
I can't say nothing, can I, Steve? Because remember I come back with.
I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry.
That was brilliant. Well played. You've made me laugh. Brilliant, Stephen. I'm going to bring Richard in a second to
to
your points. But thank you so much for popping on and making me laugh. Chris Wright. Sorry. Disappointing result. Disappointing finishing for the amount of possession and shots on goal in 180 minutes plus against lower league opposition. We've scored one goal in open play. Please proceed, but not good enough. Lewis not. Kenlock runs like he shot himself. Maybe he spent the second half on the toilet. Heidi. Not sure you can blame Chambers for our demise into League One. There are 11 players on that pitch. Ben Moore. Alaki was shaky. Is anything I'd give Holy a go? He couldn't do much worse. Joe Bradley.
Well, he almost done a Holy.
He did.
Right at the end.
Don't understand why we were trying to talk about whack the ball in the net every time when they had 9 players behind. The ball every time we attacked, all crossing the box with food and drink for Colchester United. Fisherman, hardly any crosses tonight. Lots of sideways passes and walking the ball into the net. My Papa John said we would get knocked out over like dominoes, but they hit the hut like a post express. I'm going to go get a KFC. Michael, that is absolutely top work. Cruncher, Joe Pigott, 12 months' time, another James Norwood. What do you make of that?
Absolute fucking nonsense, Stephen Parry.
I thought you might
Absolute bollocks. How are you writing someone off, Martin, who's played no football, right? His dad's passed away not too long ago. His confidence is low. Like you said, second half, I didn't think he played so well, Martin, but first half, he could have had 3 goals.
He could have done. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
So I'm not writing him off. You know, he could be another James Norwood. Look, Macaulay Bonne could get injured Saturday, then you're going to have to rely on him, Martin.
Well,
he scored goals. He scored goals in this league for AFC Wimbledon. He'll score goals in this league for Town if given the opportunities.
Sorry, Rich. Let's have a yellow card for language, please. Sorry, that's absolutely diabolical.
I don't give a fuck. I'll say what I want. We're past the watershed anyway. It's 5 past 10. Ben, you should be in bed. You got college in the morning, by the way.
I get what Stephen's saying, but in other news, water is wet. You know, like any player could not work out the way you hope he does. But on tonight's performance, didn't score. But I felt, as you said there, he could have had a number of opportunities. Well, he had a number of chances in the first half. Should have scored maybe. But really, what Stephen was asking me towards the back end of his appearance there, I'll ask you. Based on that performance, would he be your number one choice for Saturday?
We all know he's not going to be. It's not a relevant question. It's not going to be a relevant question because he's not played any football, and Macaulay Bonne's got 11 goals this season, and he's not going to play 2 up front. So Macaulay Bonne at the minute is first choice, but who knows what happens in the future? Because somewhere along the line, Martin, he could get injured. We don't know what happens. We don't know what happens in January. I know everyone's shouting to sign him. I've said before, if you are a lower end championship team and you're looking for a goal scorer, I'll be making a phone call to QPR and inquiring about Bonne.
Yeah, so, and as I was trying to say to Stephen towards the end there, if he had scored a hat-trick tonight, would he be number 1 on Saturday?
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't
No,
matter
exactly.
what he done. It wouldn't matter what he done tonight. He's not going to start.
Because
Saturday.
Macaulay Bond has that credit in the bank. He's a
Yeah.
top goal scorer. You know, unless he's injured, he plays every week, or at least he starts every week for me. Whether or not Cook can bring him Piggott off the bench a bit more than he has done, well, that's got to be done, hasn't it?
Yeah,
He
because
could
you've
bring
got
anyone off the bench a bit more than he has done.
Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, that is true. But obviously, we're through, and the Papa John's Trophy, Rich, it's possibly it ends in a day out in Wembley. Possibly. What do you make of today's 19 plus?
We done more than enough to win the game, didn't we? Really. Then you look, the Cole U lad there right at the end, Martin. He's got a free shot, a goal from what 35, 40 yards, and he really should have scored, shouldn't he? You know, he's got an open goal. Hang on, I've just got to move my car back. He just wants me to move.
You
go.
are parked up, right?
Yeah, we parked up. Parked up in Colin's favourite parking spot where I didn't have to pay.
And
So
where's
that's
that?
always happy days. Just up by the bus station, mate.
Oh, Christ,
Not-
don't start that
not-
again.
Not on them yellow lines, and I've got no parking ticket. Don't worry.
Don't start that again. Oh,
But yeah,
don't
we
worry.
done. Look, we done more than enough to win the game tonight. You know, we didn't score. Look, we won on penalties. A little bit of added. I wouldn't say drama because it wasn't really drama, was it? Really, we're just playing for an extra point. I think we get an away tie, don't we, Martin? Because we didn't win by 2 goals.
Well, I can clarify that I will not be there.
So, and I think is Selena staying? He's not going on international duty.
Is he not?
No, because he's supposed to be playing against Jordan tomorrow. They got a friendly Kosovo, and I think Town have requested that he doesn't travel. So I don't know. There'll probably be more. They'll probably ask Cookie, I think, after the game, I'd have thought. But what do you think of Harper tonight, Martin?
I thought he had a really good opening half hour, and then just
Run out
nothing
steam.
after- yeah, nothing.
Tidy,
after that.
but nothing more.
Tidy, but
Run
nothing more.
Run out of steam. And I'll tell you what, Matt Stannard, if you're watching, Bailey Clements will not play a first-team league game as long as he's got a hole in his backside. Not good enough, average player. But and he should have scored right at the end there. When he had that little free kick slip through, he
That was such a good chance from at the end there.
Was he as good as Miles Kenlock? Were you surprised Kenlock was taken off? I don't know if he got an injury or not, but were you surprised he was taken off?
Both average. Both average.
Yeah.
Kenlock isn't good enough, hasn't ever been good enough.
No.
And Clements was marginally better at certain things.
What
That
did you
was
make
it.
of Louis Barry, Crunch?
Started all right, faded out the game. I tell you, I thought had a real poor game, Martin. Cameron Burgess. Oh my lord, really struggled. I thought tonight 2 or 3 times there, got the wrong side of Sears. He looks awkward and he looks a bit cumbersome at the minute, doesn't he? You know.
What do you put that down to? What's going on? Because obviously when he signed, opening couple of games were really good. We thought we'd signed.
I don't really know, but he's obviously lost his place. He's gone out the team. I don't know. He won't be playing Saturday. Matt Penny will play left back, nailed on Saturday. I would have thought now because he's not played tonight. I think he would. Yeah, I know. Look, I think he's at the minute with Coulson out. That's a problem position for me at the minute.
Yeah,
that's probably the one position in the team where you're thinking, yeah, Penny will probably he'll probably have to play. You know, especially at home. Burgess done all right, didn't he, at Wickham? But I don't think you're going to play him as a left back when you're playing at home and you're on the front foot, Martin. He's really a centre half who's just filling in over there, isn't he? But what about the man made of glass then?
Kane Vincent Young.
Oh dear. Just look, I don't know what he's done. He had a fall and he hurt his shoulder and he was holding it. And it was only because there was 2 or 3 minutes left of the first half that he probably stayed on, because otherwise it probably would have took him off. But you just think, can he get a bit of luck? You know, is he going to be one of them players who's always a bit injury prone? I don't know. But Danasian, he's straight back in and it right back Saturday.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was a toss-up, even if...
Is that why he didn't get any minutes?
I would have thought so, Neil. Yeah, I'd have thought, because you want him fit for Saturday, don't you? If Vincent Young's injured, and he's probably his first choice at the minute, isn't he, Danasian? I know he had a couple of games out. You don't really want to bring him on and then he gets injured, because then you're probably going to have to play Luke Wolfenden out there. And He's not a right back. I think there's only one spot I'd say, Martin, up for grabs on Saturday, and that's the left-hand side of the front three. I think, personally.
Oh, okay.
I think if Selena stays, he'll play, won't he? I think he'll play him in the 10, and I'd play Scott Fraser out on the left. I know the fisherman will probably get in the chat and say, he's a number 10. I think he can play. I think he's a good enough player. I've seen enough of him now he can play anywhere, I think. And I liked him tonight in that deeper role. I thought he pulled the strings and he looked quite good.
Yeah, I really like Scott Fraser in that role. How did you
He
see
was
him?
good, but there was nothing that Evans or Morsey wouldn't have done, but better.
I don't know. He's a left footer, gives you that option. Left footed, maybe. He's not going to play there, Neil. I know that, but I just think he gives you that option if Evans is injured or suspended. He could slot in there. But it was nice tonight, Mike. It was a bit of atmosphere there, just over 8,000. Yeah, there was. It was all right tonight. I enjoyed it.
I must check my speakers because it didn't translate well on the old camera. I'll say that.
For 0-0, it wasn't a bad game. I thought it weren't a bad game. They were a bit defensive, weren't they, second half? 9 men behind the ball. 9 men behind the ball. You're playing in the bloody Papa John's trophy. Why don't you just have a go?
Their turnout was really high for a local game, wasn't it?
560 odd.
Yeah, that's not great, is it, for a team that's only 10 minutes down the road?
But what are they getting? They're only getting like 2,500 at home, aren't they?
Well,
when you look at them.
Actually, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
They don't get very big home crowds, do they?
Who's man of the match tonight, Crunch, before I let you go?
Blimey, that's quite a hard one, isn't it? Maybe Scott Fraser. I thought there wasn't no one really I didn't think who was outstanding on the pitch. No. I thought Luke Wolfenden didn't have a bad game as well. He was steady at the back. Goalkeeper, bit dodgy.
Fucking hell.
Bit dodgy, the goalkeeper, but I don't know. Nice to see Luke Chambers get a nice ovation, Martin, at the end. I know you hate that.
I was doing a watch along by that point. I turned off.
Yeah, he got a nice reception. He did. I think he deserved that. Look, for the amount of appearances, he's not been the best player. We know that, but he put his heart and soul in it for the club, didn't he? And look, it was nice of him. He can go off into the sunset now and have just a few more seasons in League Two, I think.
There we go. Crunch, as always, safe journey. Look after yourself. Speak to you soon.
Don't forget the cricket show tomorrow, midday.
Twice tomorrow.
And then at 8 o'clock, when England, hopefully, fingers crossed, are in the final.
Look at that. Take care, Crunch. Another show that I have to swat up on. The other show I do that with is obviously your 2 show, the F1 show that you can catch every Monday at 7:15. Cricket, I know absolutely naff all about. So that's another show that I'm clueless with. Steve,
a show that you get hit for 6.
Oh, there we go. Steve,
very good.
Fair to say this game lacked quality tonight, then.
Yeah, it was a frustrating watch. Every time I think something good's going to come out of a move, there's a wayward pass, it was tricky because like you said, they had everyone bar Freddie Sears behind the ball, so it was frustrating. It never really got going for me. There was never a flow.
No. Scott Fraser in that 8 role. How did you obviously heard the cruncher there? What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, I think he had a good game. There's a few people there that were sort of solid, but nothing special. But Fraser, I think, was one of the more, not stand out really, because none of them really did, but sort of the more, I suppose, just the better of, or the top of the pick really, of the players. I think he was decent.
Yeah. Mr. Afternoon, lads. What a terrible game. Very poor indeed. Stannard, I agree, Crunch. It was nice and good from him back to the fans. Right, do you love cricket, don't you, Gov? No, I like it. I don't like cricket. Oh, no. I love it. That's the song, isn't it? That's how it goes.
Something like that.
You're not going to get, demonetized for being too close to another song.
Lee Bayliss, love my cricket. Lee, join us tomorrow twice. Dr. Zach King, liked your effort last time out, though, Gavin, the cricket show. Thought you held it down well. Thank you, the good doctor. Appreciate that. Sky Cricket on tomorrow, says Colin. See him pair of Fraser Aluko with the better players. Neil, welcome in. Not a game. I bet you're gutted you didn't travel down from Plymouth 4. Obviously, lacked quality. Well, lacked anything, to be fair. How did you see it from your
Somerset,
position?
go. Somerset.
Somerset, my mistake. All right, close enough. I mean, it's closer than Norfolk. From where I was asking, how did you see the game tonight?
Well, I think like Lee said earlier in the chat, I think sometimes it was almost like a training game again. When at the tempo was, sometimes the tempo was there, and sometimes it was slowed down so much, just like they were training. Sometimes, from what I could see myself, I thought Aluko and Fraser probably the standout players for me tonight.
Yeah, what did you think Aluko brought to the party?
Oh, especially first half, he was trying to get to the byline, get crosses in, try and get people involved in the game. Maybe not so much second half, but certainly first half he did it. Tried to get on the ball, and like Crunch said, second half, Fraser was pulling the strings a lot. He was. He played well. Fraser played very well. Piggott looks very low on confidence, doesn't he? And he doesn't even, to me, he didn't even look that fit either, to be honest.
Very hard to keep yourself match fit, though, Neil. You're not playing any minutes.
Yeah, I do get that, but certainly looks low on confidence, and I didn't think he was going to score the penalty, to be honest, and he didn't score it. But he just didn't even look confident going up for it. I didn't think.
It's almost with Joe Piggott, Neil, isn't it? Neil, this one here, but this one, the guest Neil. It's almost like he's returning back from a long layoff with an injury, in the sense of how little minutes he's played this year, isn't it?
Is it to me, Gil? Sorry, was it?
Yeah,
sorry, I'm not quite with it.
It is. It's to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, I saw some of the forum yesterday, and I know it was talked about last night, and I watched the show last night. Just sort of, what's been talked about tonight, isn't it? If something was to happen to Bon, and you've got Piggott, and you surely, I know he only plays one up front, but do you think we need to look at another striker possibly in January?
I think yes.
You say, what makes you say yes, Neil? This one over here, Neil Moles.
Because I'd let our other, potential substitute strikers, they can leave the club. I don't ever want to see them again. Piggott can be a number 3 potentially, and I want another one that can rival Bon.
Are you going to get a decent one though, Steve? Because the one you've got at the moment, the second one that's arrived from AFC Wimbledon, scoring a hatful of goals for them, he can't get a minute of game time. So if you're a player looking to sign somewhere, would you be tempted? Would the situation here with Bon being so good appeal to you?
Players have ego. They'll believe they're good enough. If they are good enough, get someone who is good enough.
There's believing you're good enough, and there's having a chance, though, surely, Neil. Steve, where's the chance, other than a Papa John's game with 10 men behind the ball? Where's it really come for Joe Piggott to showcase anything?
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? This was an ideal chance for him to show that he really can push for a starting spot if anything does happen. He lacks match fitness tonight. He didn't look great, did he? It's tricky, isn't it? Because you've got Bon in such great form. No matter what you do, like we said, earlier, he could score a hat-trick, 4 or 5 goals in a game. And he's probably going to have to work even harder to actually take that shirt off Bon. So I'm more inclined to look for another striker in January, I think. I mean, Jackson, he's not going to do it. Norwood, he's probably not going to play for the club again. I can't think of anyone else. You got someone like Tyree Simpson out on loan. He's doing really well for Swindon, but that's obviously in League 2. Whether he could do it in League 1, I don't know, but he's been playing really well. You can always get Drinan back, Bit late
a word, Neil Perks on the goalkeeper, Hladky. How did you see his game today?
He had some real shaky moments, didn't he? He really did. He definitely had shaky. I mean, that mistake at the end, well, if it had fallen maybe to somebody else, I think we would have been talking about going out tonight, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was a real heart in mouth moment towards the end, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah.
If it doesn't really matter that much, but still, you don't like to lose games of football, and that was a moment. I thought the game was over. I thought he'd sport it right at the end.
Yeah. He looks good in patches, and he seems to read the game quite well sometimes. And then he just throws in clangers. He does.
I just remembered when he handballed it outside the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just about got away with it.
Yeah, I think Neil Perks summed it up well. Yes, moments where he looks really good, and moments where he can't even hold a daisy cutter, and you're thinking, "What
Yeah,
is going
I
on?"
think the same. I think it's like Cruncher said. I think the same with Burgess. He looked very, very shaky early on. I mean, I think Sears should have scored. Really, I think he could have easily got a go early on Sears, but Burgess did seem to improve as the game went on. I think he made the odd mistake second half, but he was better. I would personally start him at left back Saturday. I wouldn't put Penny in. I wouldn't put him in. I wouldn't.
Well, no, I wouldn't put Penny in. I completely agree with you there, Neil.
Do you risk ruining him similar to, say, Chambers? Chambers was never as good at centre back after playing right back. Would we do the same with Burgess?
Yeah, we need to look at a left back as well, don't we? Like Crunch said as well. I think we definitely need to be in the market for a left back as well, don't we? In January.
Well, I completely think we do. Yeah, I really do. It's a real problem position, as Cruncher was calling it earlier. Talk about Burgess then, Neil Perks. Do you think Freddie Sears' pace was troubling him, which is why he started so poorly in this game? Because Sears, still has that yard of pace, and if you haven't got it yourself as a defender, you're going to be worried about it. It just looks rattled to me in terms of knowing where Freddie was. But
I mean, from what I could see, I thought Sears was making some really good runs. He was some good movement, and I just think he couldn't really live with that at first. It seemed like, from what I could see from watching the game, like bending some runs and doing it, and he just couldn't seem to live with that at first. And then they had a few chances, but they weren't really in it second half, were they? Really?
No. They were very much 10 men behind the ball, not much in it. Neil, enjoy the rest of your evening in Somerset, and thank you for coming on the show.
Cheers,
tonight.
guys.
Look after yourself. Nice to see you again. Always a pleasure talking with Neil, our friend from Somerset. Stephen Parry, can I understand that then tell the Gavin take yourself out the foreign line? He was up for selection. We have to assume he's okay. Chris Wright, I suspect the idea is to build the attack around Piggott. In practice, he has been an afterthought. Colin Simpson is very raw, but having back pronto. Lee Anderson, defenders need confidence in the keeper. Haladkin Holy does not give you that. It's a fair point. Very fair point. Dr. Zach King, no middle with Haladki for sure. Nice other penalty, though. Reckon that last one, if it not been heading for the post, he had it covered. Yeah, some really smart penalty saves there, Steve.
Yeah, I think that last one, I agree with him there. He would have saved that, I think, if it hadn't hit the post, because it looked like he had it. I remember, after we were doing the watch along, and when Piggott missed his penalty, I thought, yeah, here we go. And then Halaki had that great save. So fair play, but there's no confidence with him. I mean, you can't play Christian Morton, I suppose, every game if you've got a lot of a busy schedule coming up. But I really wish you could.
Because you could, but you never.
Well, yeah, I suppose you could, but it's just with Holy and Halaki, none of them strike me with confidence. I still think I'd probably lean more towards Halaki than Holy, but none of them seem to really command their box.
But that's because you've seen less of Haladki than you have Holy, so you've not quite experienced the full horror show.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of Holy over the years.
Sadly, yeah. I mean, even in the games he's had this year, I mean, against Colchester, it was in pre-season, wasn't it? He's making mistakes. So even this year we've seen it. But then he goes to Cambridge on loan, emergency loan, and does, by all accounts, pretty well. Facebook user team looked like they hadn't played together. Poor performance all over. Piggott terrible, setting himself no favours, and Kenlock will never play again. But we're still in this cup, so never say never.
Not still at Cambridge. Does he come back?
No,
7-day loan. Emergency's already 7-day loan. So let's do some player ratings as we sort of round up. Don't forget you can support this show through YouTube Super Chat or on Ko-Fi. Every little obviously helps. And our Week 15 Prediction League is now open. Link is available. 4 games. Correctly predict 4 scores and get yourself in the league table. So we mentioned Haladki. Let's give him a rating now, Steve. What would you give him out of 10 tonight?
5.
5. Okay. 5
out of shaky 10. Moments. Redeemed himself a little bit with that penalty save at the end, but dodgy.
Okay. Louis, thoughts on El Mizani's new contract? Neil, before we go to the next player rating, what do you think about El Mizani signing a new 2-year deal this afternoon? I think it was 2 years.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where he fits in, if he does even fit in. Maybe his extending his contract to find out himself, as in Paul Cook.
He's in and around the first team, isn't he? Obviously, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
With Evans, Morsey, they're obviously the front runners for those starting two. Then you've got Harper and Fraser.
Got to improve quite a lot to make it in ahead of Chaplin and everyone else.
Although when he has come in,
he's
looked okay, hasn't he? For the fleeting appearances we have seen him this season, he's looked decent enough, looked solid enough. You know, young player still learning.
Yeah, he's tidy without particular excitement, as far as I'm concerned. He's got quite a bit of improving to do, from my opinion, but others love him, so they'll think he should be in.
But he's obviously got, as you say, I think you are right when you say he's got a lot of improving to do. Neil, we'll give you KVY thoughts and player rating.
He was okay, but nothing stand out. No more than probably a 5.5 maybe. But
and we'll go to Christian Burgess with you still, Neil. What do you think of Burgess' game, and what do you give him out of 10?
Well, to be fair, he was as shaky as Hlajki, so he's about a 5 for me as well.
I thought he did grow into the game a little bit, though. You know, he started shaky, but he did grow into it, and the more the game went on, he got better.
Yeah, but what did he have to do?
Well, not a great deal.
He had to mark one man, and that was it. Other than that, he just pretty much received the ball, passed the ball.
All right. The forgotten man.
If you can't do that, then...
Well, you'd be surprised how many players can't do that, it appears, when they get a blue and white shirt on. Steve, the forgotten man, Luke Wolfenden.
I'll go with a 7, I think, for him. He was pretty solid.
7 for the forgotten man, Luke. I like that. I do like Luke. I think he's a tidy player, young player, still developing, still learning the game. I thought he had a good performance tonight.
I'm quite a fan of Luke Wolfenden. It's nice to see him back in the first team. I know it's obviously only a cup game, but it's nice to see him there, and he keeps his head and he's cool. He made some good runs, so all good, good track back. So
I'll give you Miles Kenlock, Steve.
Yeah, 5.
Okay, and Bailey Clements, Neil.
5.5.
5.5. Yeah. Okay. So both left backs left a lot to be desired for. Is that right, guys?
Yeah, for the quality we were playing, that you should be doing a bit more than they did. Clements was tidy. He'd done things that I liked, but when you consider who we're up against, you need to do a bit more.
Okay. Let's go into midfield now. Let's go with Fraser, Steve.
About a 7. I think he was, one of the better players on the pitch tonight, I think.
Yeah, I thought if anything good was going to come from us, it was going to be from Fraser. Do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Neil, Harper. A player that arrived with a lot of promise. What did you make of him tonight against League 2 opposition?
Well, as good as Fraser was, I'm not really sure what he did much more than Harper. So I'd say between a 6, 6.5, that sort of thing.
Okay. Is that disappointing when you consider the promise that Harper has got as a player and what he can do and the potential he's got?
Was it the same as what's his name from Villa? Was it blown out of proportion?
Well, the Villa fan
more than he.
Well, the West Brom fans we had on the show when we signed him in the summer, very, very impressed with him. Juventus, if I remember what he said rightly, were once looking at him, just lacked maybe a little bit of application. If I remember what Chris from West Brom was telling us in the summer correctly, and if I'm not, I apologise. But do you feel sometimes he needs to sort of take control of the game, sort of really put himself into it, put his mark onto it, and not let it drift him by? Because sometimes the game can just sort of drift Raheem Harper by, can't it?
Is it sometimes I don't know really, because when you're in that deeper role, both Evans and Morsey are a little bit more get stuck in. if you want to show a little bit more of your finesse, generally you're a player more towards that number 10 role. And obviously he's not in that position, so he's having to wire up the dogged side, the positioning to stop attacks as well as then being able to find that pass. I don't think he's that driving player anyway. I think he's more of the, say, your Dazelle sort, where you can pick passes out.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. So do you think actually tonight we had two 8s in the midfield?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Neither an out legs. They're both tidy on the ball and good at passing.
I agree. Christopher Martin harping his time on the grass, give him minutes and he'll come good. We've got Colin. I'm off. Good night, gentlemen. Good night, Colin. Look after yourself. Stephen, I shall give you Louis Barry. Lots of 5s in the chat for Louis Barry. What did you make of his performance and rating tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I'm going to go with a 5. A lot of fanfare about him and not a lot of spark, really.
And we'll flip that over to Selena. Still with you, Steve. So 5 for Barry. Selena was his replacement. What did you make of Selena?
Pitch for 5 minutes. I'll give him a 7.5.
Really? 7.5 for 5 minutes?
Yeah, he did more on that pitch than Barry did all night. The penalty was great, nice and cool. And he seemed to bring something to the team, sort of a bit of life. So, yeah, I'll go with a 7.5.
Okay, all right. We've got Chaplin, Mr. Moles. What did you make of Chaplin?
He full of effort, tried a lot. I don't think he was any better than the other players in midfield, so probably 6.5.
Were you disappointed by Chaplin's performance tonight, Neil?
There were a lot of times the ball was played to him, and good on him for trying to do a little one round the corner and get onto it, in which the Colchester midfielders quite happily most of the time, lapped it up and went, thank you very much. Mm-hmm. And the final ball, he just seemed to be lacking in ideas. But I think the attack as a whole just didn't quite gel, and the ball didn't happen to fall to him correctly in the box or anything, so he didn't have a chance there. It just didn't work out for him.
Okay. Steve, last one to you. Joe Pigott.
It's tricky. 5.5.
5.5. Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I mean, it started brightly. Should have got a goal. 5, maybe a 6.5 would be. I don't know. It's one of the. It's a real tough situation because the bar is high currently with Bon being so good. Josh Russell says Pigott 4, absolutely shocking tonight. Pigott 6 from Lee Anderson.
The service wasn't the best, but
I don't think he was any quieter than Bon has been in other games. The only thing that Bon's got is he generally gets a goal. I know that's obviously what you want from your strikers, and that suddenly makes them a lot better. But the one and only real chance he had that he was offside for, he did actually put the ball in the goal. I think, his other efforts that he had were a little bit woeful.
Yeah. They're saying that if at half time you felt we were going to be scoring a goal, you probably would have said it would be through Joe Pigott because he looked the most likely to be scoring a goal. Obviously didn't get as many chances maybe as Freddie Sears did, but did look more dangerous with them.
Did you like Kenlock done exact copy of one of the other matches where he cut inside and had a left foot shot and ended up dragging it wide of the post?
I didn't. That doesn't stick out in my mind. I wonder why. Because it's probably diabolical. Mike D, 3 wins at home this season, isn't it? I think we're set up to be a better away from home without a doubt. Favourite you to pick at 3. We struggle to put away our chances. Monty, they might ask 3 million for him. This is Bon. Ashley, I went tonight. No one played bad. He didn't have the final ball or final touch to finish the move. Fraser looked good in the deeper role. The good doctor, the pig, I'd give 6. Maybe just the positioning, but he wasn't getting the wide service later. Josh said he was offside way too much. And Stephen, but if my granddad Will should be he's done it again to me. He's done it again to me. Cheeky little devil. Cheeky little swine. Look, it's done. It's dusted. The treble is still on, Neil. The FA Cup, the League, and the Pizza Cup still possible. Do you fancy it? Steve, little treble this year. FA Cup, Pizza Cup, League One. Do you fancy it?
No. I'll be happy with just the league, but I mean the FA Cup. It'd be nice to get a little FA Cup run going, but I don't know.
Obviously, Barrow in awaits in round 2, but Facebook user, I smell Wembley. How far do you want to go in this competition now you've progressed past the groups? What, as we sort of conclude the show there, we are back tomorrow, 8:30. Myself, I'll look in the diary. Give me a second to find out who's on the show with me tomorrow. But as I do that, Neil, how far do you want to go with this competition now you've progressed past the group stages? Where do you want to go now? How far? All the way to the final, or do you feel this is a competition where if you get knocked out the next round, you're not going to be that upset despite progressing from the groups?
I guess it's one of those where whoever we lose against, it'll probably be either some silly under 21s or some team that we feel we should be beating. But so the fans will be a little bit annoyed for being knocked out. But at the end of the day, it's a cup that we aren't really that bothered about anyway. So the only thing you can say about it is you want to keep the wins coming. So, the win-draw's coming.
Okay. Steve, how about yourself? Because you've now got the round of 32, the round of 16, the quarters, the semis, and the finals. So it's still a little bit of a distance away.
Yeah, it's a long way to go. It'd be great. I mean, it'd be nice just to win it. I mean, it's a bit of silverware, isn't it? So it would be good. But yeah, we'll see. I'm not as overly fussed about this one as I would be, obviously the league and the FA Cup. So
I agree with Chris there. If we stay in the cup, we can give our fringe players more game time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that'd be helpful.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. And obviously, you've got the FA Cup as well. I mean, all due respect to both Oldham and Barrow, you should be getting your surplus players like Piggott and co minutes and still be progressing, because they're, your squad should be good enough to certainly be progressing against the likes of Oldham and Barrow and Colchester and co. Lee wants 2 trips to Wembley. Lee, I'll take a second place finish and a trip to Wembley for the Papa John's, the good doctor. To take the pressure off, and I like a run. Gives more minutes to a lot more players. And Josh Russell, we're not winning, not a chance. If we can't beat Cole Ewan 90, then we're going to struggle. On tomorrow with me is the fisherman, Mike Brown, who has told me he's got something to say about the Cups. That'll be quite interesting. And the good King Callie Bisler. We are live from 8:30, looking back at this game. I'll probably ask them the same question as to how far they want to go. But we'll be looking ahead to a mouth-watering game this Saturday at home, 3 p.m. kickoff to Oxford. We are 4th in the Form League. They are 1st in the Form League. There is 4 points separating us in 9th and them in 6th. A win on Saturday could close that gap to the playoffs to 1 point. That'd be really tasty. It's going to be a big game. So join us tomorrow as we preview that and look ahead to it. But for tonight, we are through. It's a rare saying, but we've kind of won a cup game that counts as a draw, go figure, but we kind of won when we're through. We've gone through out of the group, and the chance of Wembley is still on. So I am the Gov. That is Mr. Positivity, Neil Moles. That is the Aficionado, Stephen Thompson. This is Talking Town. Thank you all for watching, supporting, liking, subscribing, all of that you do. We truly thank you. But for this evening and for the rest of tonight, it's good night from me, good night for them, and we'll see you tomorrow at 8:30.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better.